My name is Jillian Perrick, and I'm a lover of all things orange chocolate. Think One Tree Hill is way better than the OC. And as a person who stutters, I hope to one day inspire women with invisible disabilities to overcome their limiting beliefs and start the business of their dreams, just like I did. I'm a mindset coach specializing in imposter syndrome, helping women beat their inner imposter using neurolinguistic programming, hypnosis, and time techniques. And this is the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. This podcast is for you if you're an entrepreneurial woman trying to navigate the online space with a lot of passion and a lot of uncertainty. If you feel like your ideas are unoriginal, that your message isn't necessary or important, or like you're a complete and total fraud, then you've come to the right place. This podcast will take you from imposter to empowered with ninja-like brain hacks, easy to implement strategies, and uplifting real talk to make you feel like everything you want is in reach. Let's get started, girlfriend. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. And today's episode is sponsored by the Lazy Entrepreneur's Morning Routine, which is my signature journal/planner. This is a hard copy, undated daily planner for you to plan your tasks and your goals for the day and your daily gratitudes and your appointments on the left side of the planner. And then on the next page on the right-hand side is a customized journal prompt. I created 182 customized journal prompts for you to get deep on your subconscious beliefs or your limiting beliefs that are holding you back. I am certified in neurolinguistic programming and personal development hypnosis, and these customized journal prompts were all created with the subconscious neurolinguistic programming language in mind, because neurolinguistic programming, NLP, stands for learning the language of the subconscious mind. So these journal prompts are a great way for you to start your day, especially if you are not somebody who journals often and you don't really know what to journal about ever. This is an amazing gateway into being an amazing journaler, and you're not a bad entrepreneur for not having a morning routine, but this planner is definitely going to revolutionize your morning routine and is going to help you be so organized and efficient in the morning while also getting out any limiting beliefs or really uncovering anything that may be holding you back in your life or your business. So you can grab that at the link in my show notes, and you can use the code BOSSBETCH for $10 off, and you can see that when you go into the page for spelling purposes. So today's episode is going to be short and sweet, and something that's been coming up, not for me specifically, but for a couple of clients or a couple of people who I've been talking to on like discovery calls for the mastermind and stuff like that. Something that they're really struggling with is procrastination and like feeling very unmotivated when it comes to working on their business. And for some reason, this fosters feelings of imposter syndrome. And I wanted to kind of go into that for a second, because these feelings of imposter syndrome are more like, who am I to do this? I'm not qualified. But being unmotivated or unable to really work on your business, or feeling like you really want to procrastinate, that is a deeper emotional issue. And that's why I think some people feel like it may be like a symptom of their imposter syndrome, because they're thinking, am I really an imposter? Like, should I even really be doing this if I can't even find the energy to work on it? Especially because our coaching businesses are supposed to be our passion. So it's supposed to be something that we're super passionate about and we want to work on all the time. And we're also like inundated with messaging about like, oh, if it's not something that you love, you won't work a day in your life, which we all know is fake ass bullshit. Work is work. And yes, you can be really excited about your business, but there are going to be days where like you don't want to do anything, especially like work on content. Or like, for example, today I am batch recording my February podcast, and when you're listening to this, I think this is going to be the last one for the month, so it's going to be like the end of February. But basically, I've been sitting here being like, fuck, I really want to just like go and lie down, but I only have a certain amount of time in a week, and I really want to get these done for you because I know how much you guys love the podcast, and I've gotten so much more feedback recently about the podcast, so I really want to keep the momentum going. But essentially, what this episode is named, I think, says it all. It says, are you an imposter or are you just uninspired? So I was talking with a woman, on a discovery call, and she was saying how she really feels like she doesn't know if she should be doing this, that she feels uninspired, and then she's basically questioning if she should even be a coach in the first place, because if she's so uninspired, it's making her really doubt her capabilities. And I used to feel this way too with my podcast, and like honestly sometimes I still do. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, what am I going to talk about? And then I start questioning, should I even be doing a podcast if I can't think of episodes? And then I start thinking like, oh my god, if I don't have any content ideas, am I a bad coach? And then like honestly, you could spiral into, and obviously like I don't spiral at all anymore. I know how to like nip it in the bud, and I know how to like work on the techniques using NLP in order to like rid myself of that procrastination or any uninspiration that comes up. But a lot of people don't have these tools, and they really let it affect themselves because, again, they believe that the thoughts that their brain is telling them are true. Like, maybe you shouldn't be doing this. Who are you to have a podcast and talk about this topic? You're not even an expert. And when you start believing those thoughts, it can really make you want to procrastinate even more because your inspiration kind of falls flat. When you're so worried about looking a certain way to people, or not feeling like an imposter, or trying to impress other people, or trying to prove to yourself that like you're a good whatever, you're a good coach, you're a good career coach, you're a good imposter syndrome coach, you're a good mindset coach, whatever, there's no room for inspiration. When you're constantly questioning yourself and your capabilities, there's no room for you to feel abundant and for you to see the opportunity or the possibilities or even see the good things that are happening. You're just focusing on the things that aren't happening for you. And I don't think being uninspired is an indication of imposter syndrome whatsoever. In the way of, if you feel uninspired, it doesn't mean that you're an imposter. It doesn't mean that you aren't supposed to be doing what you're doing. It just means maybe you need to take a little bit of time and step more into a more creative role. So something that I find when I'm feeling really uninspired is I'm scrolling a lot. So I'm scrolling a lot on Instagram. I am looking at other people's content, and I am not creating more of my own. And that's what kind of keeps me in that like consume mentality, especially because like information consumption is like drugs to our brain. So it triggers an area in our brain, which I'm sure a lot of you know this already, but our smartphones and like our iPads and TV were specifically created to light up certain areas in our brain in terms of like serotonin and dopamine, which are like the happy hormones essentially, to flood through our brain, and we feel good whenever we see things that we like. So when you get a text message and you hear the ding, you would feel good because you're getting that attention. Serotonin or dopamine flows through you. You pick up your phone, you're so happy to be getting a message and to be shown attention. And the same thing goes for when we're feeling uninspired. We might pick up our phone because we're like bored or we're procrastinating and we're looking for that dopamine hit. And the same thing goes for when you're creating really good content and you're feeling really inspired. You're not picking up your phone when you're inspired. You're like sitting there writing, or you're recording, or you're in your flow. And that feels really good, and that gives us the same feelings. But when you're caught in that negative feedback loop of looking to others for inspiration, or just like looking at others and comparing yourself, of course it's going to be hard to be inspired. And why can't you look at others as the possibility instead of a comparison? So one of my clients is a mom coach, and she was saying how she has these really amazing relaxation sessions for moms. If you're a mom and you're looking for a relaxation session, she is your girl. Send me a DM at your coach Jill on Instagram and I'll hook you up. But she does these relaxation guided meditation sessions for moms. And first of all, we raised how much she was charging for them, because she was charging little to nothing for a lot of work. But she also was saying how like, well, I don't see anybody doing this, so I didn't think if it was something I should do. And I said, how come you need to look to others for that confirmation? Like, have you seen other people doing things that are unique and you thought, oh wow, that's a great idea? How come you can't be that for somebody else? And so it's not so much that you're uninspired, it's just like you're looking in the wrong places for inspiration and you are believing the things that your brain is telling you that you're uninspired or that like your work isn't worthy enough. The best course of action at this point is to just like stop consuming, and just start creating. Even if the words that you're writing are garbage and you're never going to use them. So like, let's say you need to create Instagram content for the next month and you sit down and everything you write is garbage, just spit it out anyways, leave it and come back, and guaranteed you will find some golden nuggets in there. I used to be a perfectionist in that, like, if my notes or whatever I wrote down wasn't perfect, then I just wouldn't even bother, and I would just be like, when my notes are perfect, I will come back to them and I will make them look so beautiful. But then I would come back after not writing anything down and I would feel like, oh fuck, I can't remember what that really good idea was. Or I'd have an idea in the middle of the night and I'd be like, I'm not going to write this down. But then I would get up in the morning and I would forget what the idea was. So it doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be done. And your inspiration your lack of inspiration does not indicate whether or not you are good at what you do. We all have those times when we're uninspired. We all have those times when we're unmotivated and we procrastinate. But remember, if you have listened to like the very first From Imposter to Empowered episode, not the growth sequence episode or the leading lady, which is what the podcast used to be named, those two things. But the first Fite episode, if you scroll down, I think this is number 27, but if you scroll down to procrastination is just an indication of a more deeper emotional thing, and the same thing goes for feeling uninspired. Like, something's not level in terms of the way that you feel about yourself or the way that you feel about content, and you just need to balance yourself out again. I do emotional freedom techniques, which is tapping. And again, if you're feeling uninspired, you can definitely get a tapping sequence from me where you can instill those feelings of inspiration or motivation. And same with anchoring. This is an NLP technique that I'll probably do on the pod at some point, but you can anchor in a certain feeling. So if you want to feel confident, you can anchor that in. If you want to feel motivated, you can anchor that in. So anyways, that is the episode for today. Remember, you are not an imposter, you're just uninspired, and you are meant to be doing the work that you're doing, and we all have those days. So make sure you are creating more than you're consuming. Turn off the distractions and really hone in on what makes you special and who you are. And if you need to do the inner work to increase your self-worth, you always know where to find me at Your Coach Jill. I do single sessions and I also have coaching packages. So I would love to help you through this with my amazing NLP techniques that has been proven to get people amazing results in their life and in their business. So again, for the Lazy Entrepreneur's Morning Routine, you can find that at the link in my show notes and use the code BOSSBETCH for $10 off. And you can find that again at the link in my show notes. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks so much for listening to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast with me, Jillian Perrick. If you loved this episode, take a screenshot and share it on your Instagram story. And don't forget to tag me at Your Coach Jill. Of course, I'd love for you to rate the podcast 5 stars and leave a review. And if you screenshot your review and send it to me at Your Coach Jill on Instagram, I'll send you a free gift. At the very least, make sure you follow me on Instagram, again at Your Coach Jill, for tons of free content, strategies, and inspo. See you next time.